this video we're going to look at writing the equation, and it's actually the equation of a line, and well, we can also say line. So it's writing the equation of lines using the point slope formula. So first let me give you the point slope formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now, the point slope formula is essentially just like it sounds. You're going to be given a point, which is x1, y1. Let me actually write that, x1, y1. And then you're also going to be given the slope. So m equals the slope. Now, once again, the reason we call this the point slope formula is because if you have the point and the slope of a line, you can shove it all into this formula, and what you get back will be the equation of the line. So once again, y1 is going to be replaced here, x1 is going to be replaced here, m is going to be replaced here. Okay, now the only other thing you may have to do, which we'll look at the end, sometimes they'll give you 2 points, an x1, y1, and an x2, y2. But we'll look at how to do that. Essentially, you have to find the slope on your own, but we'll look at that in a second. So first, let's start off with just the basic examples of, so once again, here's the point slope formula. That way we can see it. And they're going to ask you something like this. They're going to say, write the equation of a line, and it's going to have the point -1, 7. And then they're going to say the slope is -4. You could also hear this worded as, it may say passes through, it could say it passes through this point with a slope of -4. It's all just a matter of how the question's worded. But basically, we want the equation. Okay, so our job is to find the equation. Now, the first thing we're going to do, or I would do if I were you, is just label your ordered pair x1, y1. Because we know an ordered pair is an x and a y. All we have to do is make the added effort of saying this is x1 and this is y1. So now we're just going to replace, substitute, simplify, and then we're pretty much finished. So y minus, now y1 is 7, so that's just going to get plugged in, equals m, but now we're going to replace that with -4, times x minus, and this is where I would watch out, it's actually x minus a -1, which would look like this. And hopefully by now all of us are pretty comfortable with seeing minus a negative actually becomes +1. All right, so now our next job is to distribute here and here. So y minus 7 equals -4x minus 4, because the negative times the positive gives us a negative. Now, it could be the case that this is a multiple choice answer. So this could be a multiple choice answer, but let's just say we wanted this in y equals mx plus b form, okay, which is how most of the answers would be if I were just guessing. So now all we have to do is isolate this y value, which means to add 7, and then we're finished. So y is going to be equal to -4x plus 3, and that equation would match a point, or it would pass through a point -1, 7, and it would have the slope -4. All right, let's do another one just real quick. So once again, let's say we have -6. Let's say we have -6, -5, and then our slope is 2/3. And our job is to find the equation. All right, and specifically we want it y equals mx plus b form. So once again, my equation, or my point slope formula, is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So here's x1, y1. Here's m. We're just going to substitute. So y minus, now we're substituting in a -5, so hopefully you can see what happens there, but we'll fix it in a second. Then we're going to have m, which is 2/3, start our parentheses, x minus, and once again we're plugging in a -6. So the only thing you've got to watch out for is the minus and negative situation, which once again, if you just keep an eye on it, you'll typically spot it. So these are actually going to change to y plus 5. And then when we distribute 2/3, we're going to say 2/3 x. And then this is actually a positive times a positive now. So we're going to say plus, and I think that would be 4. Let me just double check. 2/3 times 6/1. We can cross, we can divide the diagonals. That'd be 2. Yeah, that should be 4. All right, so now we are going to just simply put this in slope-intercept form, which means we want to get y by itself. So we want to isolate y. So we're going to subtract 5, y equals 2/3x plus, actually minus 1. Minus 1. And there's our equation. All right, so now let me show you a few more examples, just because you could run across a case like this. You could run across a case that says, well, I want you to use these 2 points to find the equation of a line. So -6,1 and -3,7. Well, for that, we're going to have to draw back a little bit on what the equation, or how we find the slope. So the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Because in order to use the point slope formula, which looks like this, in order to use that, right now we have everything we need. We have actually 2 points that we could use for the x1, y1, but what we're missing is this m. And to find it, we use the slope formula here. Okay, so if you're given 2 points, you have to manually find the slope, then you have to do the slope, point slope form, or point slope formula. So now let's find it. So once again, it'll probably help you label this x1, y1, x2, y2. So now we're going to say m is equal to 7 minus 1 over -3 minus a -6, because this 6 is negative, so it's minus a negative, which changes to plus. So now we're going to end up with 6/3, so the slope is actually 2. All right, so now keep that in mind, and we're going to go to the rest of the problem. So we said -6, 1 is our ordered pair, and then we have another ordered pair that is -3, 7. But now we just found the slope is m equals 2, so here's what you get to do. To use the point slope formula, we need 1 point. So you get to pick. You can make this point x1, y1, or you can make this point x1, y1. Let's just do the first one. So x1, y1. And now that we found the slope, that was pretty much the missing piece to the puzzle. We can just substitute in 1 for y1, so y minus 1 equals 2 is going to substitute in for m. Then we're going to have x minus, and this is a -6, so we're going to substitute the -6 into parentheses. Minus a negative becomes plus. So now y minus 1 equals 2x plus 12. Then the last step, if we want this in y equals mx plus b form, the last step is just to add 1, so y equals 2x plus 13. All right, so once again, if you are given 2 points, it doesn't change a whole lot. It just means that you have to use the slope formula to manually find the slope first. Then you can plug all that, well, the slope, and then pick one of your ordered pairs and plug that into the point slope formula. So once again, I'll give you the formulas again just so you can see it. So this is the point slope formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And then if you need to manually find the slope, m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.